Howdy, I'm Dust Bunny, and welcome back to the Podfic's Baton Pass. We will be reading ShutterBug by I. Riley, Chapter 33. If you haven't already listened to the rest of the chapters, there is a link in the description to the playlist. Along with that link, there will also be a link to Puppy Wanter, who will be reading Chapter 34. Staring at his ceiling, Peter thinks about his next step. First is to lay out the facts. Peter has a newly fixed building he can use for finding a way home and making new gadgets for Spider-Man. He has a house/spider base that's housing two other vigilantes, aka Wade and Matt. He finished his first semester and is already registered for his second. And he likes Jason. Fuck. He hears a loud gasp. Language! Wade gives him a fake scolding look before walking over with toaster waffles. Eat up. Peter takes the plate and starts to eat. I know you're not really doing the whole talking about our feelings and whatnot, but we do need to talk. Peter swallows and looks at the window, and Wade who's in front of it. Peter feels Matt sit behind him. Sighing, Peter sets the empty plates down. Fine. You have that building now, right? Peter nods to Matt's words before speaking. Yeah, I'm about to start working on some new tech. Try and remake Karen, build a way home. He whispers the last part, trying to remind himself. Matt and Wade share a look over his head, and Wade starts again. You do want to go back, don't you? Back to New York? Peter doesn't answer. How could he when nothing's waiting for him? Peter shakes his head and stands. I don't know. I think so, but... Matt stands and puts a hand on his shoulder. Take your time. It's a big decision. Peter smiles and pats Matt on the shoulder as he moves to change into his suit, leaving through the window before swinging off. Matt. Wade looks at him while Peter jumps out the window, already in suit this early in the day. Should we follow him? Shaking his head, Matt answers. No. He needs some time to think about things. His heart is conflicted. Wade frowns at the window. The kid needs some time to figure his feelings out. It's tough trying to balance your head and heart. They turn to the voice coming from the kitchen. Why are you still here? Wade asks the woman. Matt had felt her presence before, but had thought she was still asleep, with how even her breathing was. I've been here the whole time. Wasn't about to walk home in the cold. Wade nods. That's fair. Wait, did you see him? Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it, though. I ain't gonna say anything. I know too many masks as it is. Matt nods, feeling her sincerity. I just hope he doesn't do anything stupid. With Peter. Swinging between buildings, Peter finally lands on one of the taller ones. He sits there for what feels like an hour, thinking about what he wants to do. What he should do. New York doesn't need me anymore. They have the remaining Avengers, Wade and Matt, plus the X-Men. He looks over Gotham and the almost fog that seems to blanket the city. Gotham needs Spider-Man more than New York does. They might have the bats, but the crime in the city is too much for them to handle alone. He looks to where his building is at. They have the Justice League, but it seems like Batman doesn't like them in his city. He thinks about the crime he's seen in this city since he got here. I've made friends here, too. One's my age. They're definitely hiding something, but so am I, so I guess I can't judge. It's weird that the bats keep showing up, though. And why were they in Star City? Before he can think on it any further, a figure approaches. Signal! Morning! Peter greets the other man once he's close enough. The man sighs as he lands next to Peter. Oh, thank God. I thought you were gonna... well, you know. Peter nods and watches as Signal sits next to him. You're out early, Spider-Man. Any special plans today? Peter shakes his head. Nope. How about you? Signal shakes his head and smiles. Nope. Just how I like it. Means people are safe. Peter nods as the other man looks back over the city. They sit like that for a bit before Signal gets a ping. Robbery on 6th. You want to come? Peter smirks. For sure. With that, they swing towards 6th. Light-hearted jabs are thrown along the way. Bet I get there first. What's your offer? If you beat me, I'll buy you lunch. You're on. Landing at the art museum, Peter watches as Signal lands next to him, panting a bit. Looks like you owe me lunch. Yeah, right. After we deal with this. He catches his breath as he talks. Turning to the building, Peter sees police surrounding the front. We should probably head to the back. He gets a nod and they're off again. Once inside, they start to look around, keeping an eye and ear out for any officers doing the same. Peter looks around, but nothing seems to be missing. Making it back to Signal, Peter relays as much. Same here. I don't think they took anything. The alarm must have scared them off. Peter hums. Maybe, but I didn't see any point of injury. The museum is under construction, right? They could have taken something from the back. The other man thinks for a moment, before waving him over. Peter follows as he's led to the back room. The only thing they should have back here is Red Cat's eye gem. They're a pair, but only one is housed here. Too much of a bait for Catwoman. Peter pauses. Catwoman? White, long hair? Signal stops as well. No? Short black. You know another cat burglar? Peter lets out a breath. No, just something from home. Signal doesn't push anymore, instead turning his focus to the still locked glass box. What the? The gem wasn't inside, but the glass hadn't been touched. Before they could look around any further, they hear an officer yelling that someone was there. There, being where Peter and Signal stood, in front of the empty glass display. Not good. Run! Peter suddenly yells. As they run out of the room through the second exit, they can hear the cops running after them. Peter fires a web and grabs Signal, pulling hard once he has a good grip on the man. Whoa! Peter feels something coming at them, so he pulls Signal in front of him, grunting as the bullet pierces him in the side. Peter lets go of the webbing to fire another strand, pulling them into a building a bit further out. Rolling onto said building, Peter drops Signal on the roof in his movement. Laying on his back, Peter grits his teeth as the gravel and dirt cake into his wound. Holy shit, dude! Peter looks over to see a slightly panicked Signal. I'm fine. Peter tries to reach the wound. He has to get the bullet out before it closes, otherwise it'll hurt even more to get it out. But he can't reach it. Damn it. What happened to that spider flexibility? We gotta get you to a hospital. Peter cuts him off. No hospitals. I'm fine. Just gotta get the bullet out and I'll be fine. Signal gives him a worried look and steps closer to him. You should let a doctor help. He pauses when Peter shoots him a look, the best he can with a mask on, and sighs. Fine, no doctors, but we need to get you help. Peter wants to say something, but he's shot down. Dude, you took a bullet for me. I know you pulled me out of the way so it wouldn't hit me. Let me help you. They sit there staring at each other for a moment, before Peter gives. Fine, we can go back to mine. You mean your house? Peter looks at him. Not really, just a base. Oh! He helps Peter stand, an arm around his side as he waits for Peter to tell him where to go. Peter tells him the address and tries his best to stay awake and keep most of his weight off. Most of it a vital. It's usually not this bad. Soon enough, mostly because he kept blacking out, they're in front of his door. Masks! He shouts at the door, and soon enough, Wade's swinging the door open in his mask and boxers. Who? Oh my god! Wade pulls them in and helps set Peter on the couch. Matt walks out with his mask on, if only a little crooked due to the short time he had to put it on. What happened? My baby boy has been shot! Wade has tears coming from his mask and runs around trying to find the first aid. Deadpool! Peter's shout makes Wade stop and look at him. Under the kitchen sink on the right. The older man nods and grabs the box. Matt walks over and starts to direct Wade. Normally he'd do it, but he hasn't gotten his full range back and doesn't want to risk it. Cut the fabric around the wound. Then you'll have to pull the bullet out. Peter already knows before Wade says anything. The wound closed? Peter closes his eyes and nods. Do it. He can feel Wade's eyes on him. Signals too. But it's fine. It's better it's out. I already get stopped at the TSA enough. Wade gives a dry chuckle before nodding. All right, Banana Boy. Scalpel. Signal points a finger at himself. Me? Wait. Wade drags him over and sets him near the first aid before holding out a hand. Scalpel. Signal looks hesitant and looks down. This is just a first aid box, though. There's no scalpels. As he speaks, he pulls one out. He looks confused, but hands it to Wade. Peter grits his teeth as Wade starts to cut into the now closed wound. He can hear Signal hold back a gag. Tweezers. Signal hands them to Wade once they're in hand. Peter hisses as the bullet is pulled out, but sighs when he hears it hit the glass of the table. Matt hands him a plate with a sandwich on it. I don't think a sandwich is his top priority. We need to close the wound. Signal voices his concern, but gets waved off. Just watch. Matt places a hand on Signal's shoulder as Peter pulls his mask up to his nose. Taking a few bites of his sandwich, Peter can feel the wound start to close. What the fuck? Language! Wade cuts the other man off. Peter finishes his sandwich and sets the plate on the table next to the bullet. Sorry about that, Signal. Not a pretty sight, but you get used to it. Signal sits on the couch next to him and leans his head back. Do you? I've seen some gnarly things in Gotham, but it never seems easier. Peter turns to look at him and smiles. Is it so bad, though? At Signal's confused look, he continues. I think it'd be worse if you had no reaction to it. Means you still have humanity left. That you still care. Signal chuckles. You're talking like you've been doing this for years. Peter smirks at him. Just hit 5 years. You're still a rookie to me. The other man's mouth drops. I've only been doing this for a little more than a year. I thought you were around the same age as me. Guess not. He rubs the back of his neck and gives a sheepish grin. It's all good. Most people think I'm younger than them. Peter shrugs and glances at Wade and Matt. Wade is doing his best not to laugh, and Matt is trying to hold back a smirk. Jerks. It's true, though. Most people think I'm younger than them. Mostly because I am, but I don't think I need to say that. Signal's comm beeps again, and he stands. I gotta run. You gonna be okay? Peter stands with him and smiles, turning his back towards him. All good over here. Mostly healed anyway. Signal nods and walks to the door. See you around. Peter waves as he closes the door. A bat has your base address now. It's Matt that reminds him. Yeah, better than a hospital, though. He walks to the table and grabs his plate before looking at the bullet. Picking it up as well, he hums. Souvenir. He pauses at the logo on it. A small lotus flower symbol is etched into it. Peter sighs as he puts his plate in the sink and pulls his mask off. I need a shower. He sets the bullet on the desk to look into later. Need a hand? Peter flips Wade off as Matt smacks him upside the head. You forget which one you're talking to? 616? Matt shakes his head. 19999. Oh, never mind then. He calls out, and Peter shakes his head, ignoring them in favor of turning the shower on. He needs a nap. With Duke. Advanced healing. Tim looks at him from his spot in front of the Bat computer. Duke nods as he leans on the table next to him. Advanced is an understatement. I watched a bullet wound heal in front of my eyes. All he did was eat a sandwich, too. Tim hums as he continues. And that's not all. He said he's been doing this kind of work for 5 years. Tim pauses at his words and opens the files Bruce started on Spider-Man. Duke watches as he types in before asking, Are we really sure it's Peter? The same Peter that was trying not to cry when he got a splinter. The same one who made you take it out because he couldn't do it himself. Tim glances at him. It could have just been an act. Duke shakes his head. It was too genuine. Plus, I watched this guy cut a bullet out of him because it healed around it. Said, and I quote, I get stopped at the TSA enough. That means he's been shot before. A voice from behind startles Duke. It's a possibility. We'll keep an eye on it. Bruce, in all his business-suited glory, is the one who says it. Aren't you supposed to be in a meeting right now? Bruce looks at Tim. Aren't you? Tim shrugs. Fair enough. Bruce smirks as he pats them both on the shoulder, before turning back to the elevator. Alfred made sandwiches. Duke and Tim share a look before they both make a run for the elevators. Game on. With Peter. A job in D.C.? Jen nods. Our usual photographer for this is out on Spider-Man duty, so you're up. She sits back with a sigh. Not that I want to send you out again, given your track record. Peter gives an awkward chuckle at that. She's got a point, though. But Spider-Man duty is the new assignment, right? Like the one I have for the bats. She nods. Yep, said he's the only one to do it. The kid wants a picture of the new mask. Saved him a few weeks ago. Peter nods. Guess I'm going to Virginia. She shakes her head. Not that D.C. Washington, D.C. Peter blinks. Like the capital? She nods. Plane leaves in a week. Have fun. Guess he has to pack. Surely it won't be as bad as last time, right? With Signal, later that night. Landing on the roof of the museum's showroom, Duke sees another figure drop down next to him. Spider-Man? Why are you out already? The guy shrugs. I told you I was fine. Anyway, I saw the news. Said the other cat's eye was stolen. They found more clues there, though. Any ideas? Duke shakes his head. No, but the silent alarm was tripped, just recently, so they should still be here. Spider-Man nods and looks down. That your Catwoman? Duke looks down and sees Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, slinking up to the display case with the cat figure in it. Yeah, but I don't know who that other girl is. Walking in after Selina is a short girl with long blonde hair and a black bodysuit similar to Selina's. A black mask covering her face as well. Looking back at Spider-Man, they share a nod before opening the skylight's window. Duke slides down while Spider-Man sticks to the ceiling next to the window, staying in the shadows as he crawls along the ceiling towards the wall. Aw, Batman. Here to try and declaw me again. Oh, it's just you. Duke frowns. Just you? I'm hurt, Catwoman. I thought we were friends. She smirks at him. We can be. You just have to let us take that pretty kitty statue. Duke sighs as he shakes his head. No can do. You'll just have to do without it. And since you can't get that, might as well return the cat's eye too. She chuckles, but moves to a crouch. Not happening. She lunges at Duke, and he's forced into the defensive. The other girl starts to make her way towards the glass display when Spider-Man drops down on a web strand. Not so fast, kitty cat. That doesn't belong to you. She jumps back a bit and flexes her hand. Doing so brings out small claw-like nails. Duke's attention is brought back to Selina as she swipes at his face with similar sharpened nails. All right, let's have a cat fight. With Peter. Dodging the swipe, Peter fires a web at the cat-themed thief. She flips out of the way before lunging at him to take another swipe. Whoa! Watch the claws! Not trying to catch cat scratch fever. She huffs out a laugh before backing up again. Funny, you're Spider-Man, right? Didn't know that bats and spiders got along. Peter crosses his arms. There's a hyphen! I can tell you didn't say it. He squints, and she shrugs. Anyway, Itsy Bitsy, how about you step aside and let me adopt that poor kitty? Peter fires a web at her feet before responding. Sorry, not happening. That kitty already has a home. She pouts and uses her nails to cut through his webbing, before dashing towards the display case. Peter starts to run after her, when a rope catches his ankle and he's dragged the opposite way. Come on, little spider. Let the girl have her kitty. She's worked hard to plan this night. Peter grabs what he now knows is a whip and wraps it around his hand before pulling it towards him. Whoa! Catwoman stumbles forward and loses her grip on the whip. Taking his chance, Peter pulls the whip off his ankle and wraps it around the woman before tying it off. Looking back towards the glass case, Peter sees the other cat burglar using her claw nails to cut into the glass and take the cat statue. She looks at him as the alarm starts to sound, lights flashing red. Bye-bye, Spider. She blows him a kiss before using her tail whip to swing up into the open skylight window before jumping out of sight. Looking to where Catwoman is, he sees a cut rope lying on the floor, but the woman is gone. Little help? Signal is wrapped up in a rope, laying upside down, his feet laying against the wall. Peter sighs as he breaks the rope off the other man. Let's get out of here before the cops show up and think we did this. Signal nods, and they make their way to the roof. Just what Peter needs. Another cat burglar. There are no notes on this chapter, so we're doing my normal. If you enjoyed this work, you can go down to the description below and follow the link to the author's original work. You can leave comments and kudos there. If you enjoyed my reading, you can subscribe, or go down to the comments below and tell me what else I should read. Alongside those links, there will also be a link to Puppy Wanter to listen to the next chapter of this fic, and the playlist to listen to the rest of the chapters. Thank you for listening. With that in mind, the only quote-unquote Marvel comic I've read is Marvel Meow. Loki is a cat. There's like an arc of this comic where fucking Loki was like, everyone is giving these cats attention, but not me. I'm gonna become a cat, and he becomes a cat boy for like a handful of chapters, and it's fucking great. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Everyone should read it. This random white cat shows up, and they're like, Loki? That's 100% Loki. And then they just treat him like a normal cat. They don't question it at all. I love it. Imagine your brother becomes a cat, and you're like, well, I guess he's a cat now, and just fucking move on. I love it. A thing about the way this author writes, dialogue, they will have one person say something, and then follow it up with the action of the other person. So instead of it being like, oh, Peter says this, it's whatever Peter says, and then the action that Duke does afterwards. So it's super confusing to try to record aloud when I'm doing different voices for every character.